I just went live, so.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't know why this light be so fucking bright. Do you fucking hear me? Okay, I'm about to hang up in your fucking face. I just sent you an invite.
Okay.
All right. Cause a nigga in that order. Brandon, I sent you a damn invite, my nigga. Like, why you taking so long to get into the stream? Send it again. All right. I just sent it again.
All right, we good now. We are here. We are live.
Is we live, whore?
You live, whore. You live, whore. Oh, Lord. I'm back with my busted looking ass, but it's all right. It's okay.
What?
I said I'm back with my busted looking ass, but it's all right. Can y'all hear me?
You look like a natural, beautiful, handsome, authentic black man. Don't ever let the white devil tell you anything otherwise, okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. So this was kind of your idea, so you can go ahead and kind of lead the people and greet the people and welcome the people and state your claim.
Okay. What's going on, everybody? It's your dude, Brandon, here. Kind of want to talk about this video that I watched.
Well, damn, bitch, you don't want to invite me?
Oh, wow. So this is your stuff. Okay, this is Davion Mystic Augustus, the Black Gay Jesus, the luxurious you. But yeah, of course, first of all, I want to give a major shout out to the individuals over at the GrapeVine. I also want to give a big major shout out to Justin J and Adrian Expression for them, and as well as the For the Culture podcast for them collectively together. Actually, being a part of the GrapeVine. I watched their latest video today, which was a two-part video where they were asking the question or having a conversation based around the posed question is Bruno Mars, does cultural appropriation? And that was a very interesting, intense conversation that they had. But I left a comment on the second video that I felt like wasn't answered throughout the whole entire video. And that question was this. We understand and reference, because a lot of people are making reference to the VMAs. I mean, the VMAs, the Grammys, and saying how the Grammys is basically set up for people who are non-black to win. And how Bruno Mars was able to win Album of the Year, and he's not black, but he's doing things that, you know, are linked with black people. So yes, I understand that is like a racist institution that is set up for people of color to fail, and for people who are not of color, who are white, to succeed. But the question I had posed was, okay, since we know this, what do we as black people do in order to level the playing field and make sure that everybody gets their even chance at being able to obtain a Grammy? But at the end of the video, one of the individuals, I don't know his name, but he said, you know, if we know that this is a racist institution and black people are set up to fail, then why are we even having this conversation in reference to the Grammys? You get what I'm saying? So me personally, I don't believe that Bruno Mars is doing anything in reference to cultural appropriation or as a culture vulture. Reason being because to me, when you do appropriation, it's the fact of, okay, I'm taking this idea, it's mine, I came up with this first, nobody else did. But of course, he has paid homage to individuals that did this. For example, in the Finesse Remix video, at the end, he pays homage to in living color. You know what I'm saying? He has black band members. He has black dancers. And I understand that people saying, oh, why the black people got to be in the background. But some of these people, maybe they want to be in the background. Maybe they're a dancer and that's what their whole thing is about. Or the fact that, okay, this person is giving me an opportunity to be able to showcase my talent and showcase my skills on a broader scale. So I don't believe that he is a culture vulture. How do you feel about it, Davion?
I don't see Bruno Mars as a culture vulture. I do think people like Miley Cyrus would be more in the category of somebody who is culturally appropriating. She was able, because of her white privilege, to just assimilate to blackness and then not assimilate and still benefit from either lane. White people can assimilate to whiteness and it mean anything other than a coon ass nigga being a coon. But a white person is able to constantly exchange identity, and it's okay with the world, and they are rewarded for some odd reason for doing this. Now with Bruno Mars, I think when I hear cultural appropriation, I think of people who sometimes know the history and the context and sometimes don't, but nonetheless assume something and then say that it's theirs. They claim it for themselves, and they try to erase any connection to where this thing originated from. Just a blatant fucking thief, a plagiarizer, if you will. Cultural plagiarizer. I don't feel like Bruno Mars is necessarily that. I think because I don't know, like, do you know what his ethnicity is?
I remember them saying that he's part, I think, Filipino, and then
Filipino.
I think also with his mom was half something and half Jewish, and some was like, yeah, a white person. But at the same time, he's not 100% white, though.
He's an old white person, basically.
I don't know.
Okay, so I don't know much about Bruno Mars' upbringing, but I just feel like, he's just one of them kids who had soul. He grew up hearing the James Brown and the Michael Jacksons and hearing the rhythms and vibrations of black music, and that was something that gave him eargasms. He loved those sounds, just like we all love these sounds. I think one of the beautiful things about about black people's art and black people, somebody says he's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, okay.
One of the beautiful things about black music is that even though we don't get the credit we deserve oftentimes for our art is universal. We create shit that everybody can love and that can move every fucking body, because that's how rhythmic and in tune we are, especially as it comes to beat and as it comes to dance and as it comes to song. Those are things that are just in our fucking blood. So I'm not surprised when colonizers are inspired. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a ladybug started beat bopping. I wouldn't be surprised if a goddamn deer started doing the moonwalk. I'm just not surprised, because I see black art as powerful and innovative like that. So for me, no, I don't see Bruno Mars as a motherfucking cultural appropriation. I think he's just someone who grew up on this music. He loves this music, and he narrated his own artistry.
Exactly.
In the way that he saw it growing up.
And kind of going back to what was discussed in the video in reference to damn, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Damn, what the
because
hell
you paying more to the motherfuckers in the audience than you are to what you're actually here to do. Which
there it is. Michelle said it. His dad is Jewish and Puerto Rican. His mom is Filipino. Okay, thank you so much, Michelle, for clarifying that, because that's what they said. And I couldn't really remember it verbatim, but I think that's what he is. But let's go back to those who do no, this is what I wanted to say. I felt like watching that entire video, there were people in the conversation that were just individuals who were just mad. That's what I felt. I think it was a fact of, we're tired of people who aren't black getting credit for black things. And I can understand that. But once again, I think the power lies with us, and what are we going to do to change it? Because now, yes, we can sit here and put pressure on those who are white, who are using black things such as New Jack Swing, such as R&B, such as rap. All these, we can put pressure on them to be more vocal about it. But at the same time, it's like we have responsibility as well. And the reason why I kind of got upset when this whole happened, because it's like, let's take a look back to our ancestors, right? Compared to what they've been through, if they were to go through what we're going through right now, it would be peanuts and cakewalks compared to that. You know what I mean? Our ancestors, slavery, they had to fight for their lives. The civil rights movement, they had to sit there and stand together and band together and do things about it to change it. I feel like right now with this generation, a lot of us, all we do is complain. We complain, why is this happening? Why is that happening? I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. Okay, well, life isn't fair. What are you going to do to change the outcome of the situation? And black people, we're powerful. And I'll give you a reason to show you why we're powerful with something that's recent. For example, Black Panther. Black Panther is about to make $1 billion in box office revenue back. That's the power of black people and the black dollar. The fact that we all went to go see this movie 3, 4, 5, 6. Some people went to go see it maybe 7 times. So It's like we have that power. So why can't we use that power to be able to change the playing field so that we can be able to have a chance at getting things or obtaining Grammys and stuff like that? Now, yes, there are some black people who do obtain Grammys, but at the same time, I guess in the big four, especially album of the year, there isn't a lot that actually get those accolades. But also, like I think Cosmic has said it, but there are institutions, there are award shows that celebrate black people, the BET Awards, the Centric Soul Train Awards, but we always down them though. You know what I'm saying? We down them though. So it's like, oh, the BET Awards, you talking about the EBT Awards, child? Anybody gonna watch that shit? They always fucking up. They always got people that is irrelevant on there that can't sing, blah, 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 blah. But it's a award show designed to uplift black people. But it's like, oh, if the white man don't see us, then we ain't nothing. You know what I mean? So we have these things that are able to uplift and encourage and inspire us as black people. And I feel like if we keep putting our energy into that, then we can start making moves and putting dents in the point to where we will have black artists that's able to possibly win album of the year. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, well, you made a fucking great point. And I think in our conversation with the GrapeVine, we did not hear enough people taking the focus off of white award shows like the Grammys, like the VMAs, and saying, hey, instead of us getting on this platform constantly talking about what these white folk aren't valuing or giving to black people, why don't we at the same time change the narrative around the Soul Train Awards, change the narratives around the BET Awards, and start speaking in empowering ways about those motherfucking shows, and then putting some pressure on our fucking artists to dismiss attending the motherfucking Grammys and the fucking Oscars and the goddamn VMAs, and making it their business to get to the Soul Train Awards, making it their business to get to the BET Awards. Because guess what? When Beyonce starts shading the VMAs and saying, but she starts doing the BET Awards, MTV is going to start flipping their motherfucking narrative.
Exactly.
They don't want to lose Beyonce's audience. When Kendrick Lamar stops doing the fucking VMAs and the Grammys, but starts doing consistently the Soul Train Awards, that's what's going to shake and bake and stir up white people and make them be more fair and balanced. Not that we even have to give a fuck any goddamn way, because I would love for us as a culture to just let white people have the Grammys, let the motherfuckers have the Oscars, let them have the VMAs, and us just change the way that we feel about black ceremonies, and let that mean something to us as much as it means, as much as the Oscars is supposed to mean to us. Like let the BET Awards mean that much to you. So yes, I do think that the focus should get off of white folk. And something else that I thought was interesting about the conversation on the GrapeVine was somebody said, are we more mad that Bruno Mars is winning at black music, or the fact that he's simply doing black music? Because if Bruno Mars was a no fucking body, would we even be pressed about the fact that out here showboating funk and jazz and R&B and blues and all of that shit? Like, do you think black people are more mad? Or I
feel like in that conversation there, I feel like a lot of people in that conversation were just mad about that. Because someone said, like, oh, well, if he was black, we'd be having this conversation right now. But because he isn't black, we're having that conversation. And someone had made a very good point, and I forgot what her name was. But when she said it, it really stuck with me when she said it. She said, I guess she did a video review of Beyonce when she was pregnant or something, and she had like these, I think it was Indian garbs or something on, and she was doing that or whatever, and she kind of, I guess in a sense, kind of dragged Beyonce for doing that. But then the Indian community ended up dragging her, saying she wore the correct head guard, she wore the correct hijab, she did everything right, and it was nice to see Beyonce be able to take our culture and to execute it beautifully, even though she's not Indian. So it's like, you can't get mad if somebody who isn't black is doing their homework and doing their research and is out here doing the damn thing. Because let's think about it. When you think of black music now, in my opinion, the way I feel like the majority is going towards is this whole trap type of thing, this whole hi-hat type thing. Even so much that like artists that I love, like Layla Hathaway, Ledisi, and countless other R&B or neo-soul artists are now starting to progress over to that sound to remain relevant, because we always talk about relevancy, to remain relevant, to remain in the now, and they have to follow that trend. I think what he did was he just took something, revamped it, made it fresh, and brought it back and remixed it. And since you mentioned Beyonce, let's talk about appropriation here.
Well, hold on. Before we get to Beyonce, you had said something about artists being schooled. Now, we had this conversation off camera, but I want to reiterate this again on camera. Mm-hmm. Like, the spiritual part of me and the human part of me is very conflicted about non-black artists doing black music, but yet not necessarily taking an activist role. Because the human part of me wants to say that I think it's unfair for us to project onto people like Bruno Mars and think that just because you're doing black music doesn't mean that you have to become a black activist. Right. Like, I feel like if you feel in your spirit you're called to be a musician and a singer, then that's what you're here to fucking do. I feel like the luxury is then using your platform to be an activist if that's your choice, but that it shouldn't be a mandate or mandatory for non-black artists who do black music to then become motherfucking black activists. Like if all you want to do is express black music and black art and make that your mission in life, then so fucking be it. But then, on the other hand, my higher self, my God self, my mature self, my aware self, my cultured self is like, if I knew I was taking a art form from a community that is being marginalized, that is being targeted, that is being underserved economically, socially, in every single way, I personally, in my self-awareness, would use my platform to empower those people by giving voice to those people, using my platform to put black people to the forefront, get them to talk about the things that affect the black community, that are important to black people. That would be my giving back. But at the same time, like, I don't want to crucify people for just wanting to be musicians and not wanting to be a fucking activist. So I'm torn in between the two. But there are Toya Luckett type shit.
Well, there are two things. One, as an artist, you want to try to evolve and transcend every time. And Bruno Mars went through many different changes to try to find what type of sound or what works for him or what's going to be relevant for him to be able to grow as an artist. Okay. Secondly, why I keep losing my damn thought? It's really irritating my spirit.
From stage fright.
It ain't no stage fright. It's just we was talking about.
Because when we was on the phone, you wasn't missing no.
I don't know, because when I was on the phone, I was just in it. I was just gone. That's the thing, but I gotta hold this phone and stuff like that. But like I said, as an artist, you try to grow, you try to change, you try to challenge yourself. And secondly, going back to what you said as far as activism. Damn, why the fuck I keep forgetting I'm getting really pissed off.
No, it's gonna make you stutter even fucking more. Calm down, calm your fat cells, and just
I'm trying to think because I said something about the being art, and I had on the tip. I should have just cut your ass off. I should have just cut you off. But I was trying to be respectful and be nice.
Yeah. Fuck all them politics.
You had said your higher self because it made me want to respond to what you were saying.
And being an activist, but also just choosing to just do music. Don't want to crucify him for doing one over the other. I'm conflicted with the both. No, still not coming back to you. Okay, so let's go to fucking Beyonce. You was about to say Beyonce.
Thank you. It'll probably come back to me. Okay, now, since we're talking about... Oh, okay, I know what it was. In reference to Bruno Mars, he hasn't done anything yet to show that he's a culture vulture. As of yet, because he's continued to pay homage to these people. Like I said, once again, going back to the Finesse remix video. At the end, yes, the whole thing was built around the whole In Living Color, as far as the set, the creativities, the colors, the clothing, all that stuff really captured the essence of the 90s. And he paid homage to that. Now, if he would have said, bitch, I came up with this shit, I don't know what the hell y'all hoes talking about, I made this first, then I understand. If Justin Timberlake or Miley Cyrus with her motherfucking SpongeBob square built body ass, you don't know where the bitch ass crack or the back began, if she ended up doing some stuff like that, then I would understand. But Bruno Mars has yet to prove that he is a culture vulture. Now, going to Beyonce. If we're going to talk about cultural appropriation and taking things and using them, Beyonce is a really good example of doing that. Two reasons that I know of. For one, let's take a look at the countdown video. I think that if you do your research, I don't know if it's the whole video or if it's one particular scene, but she ended up taking a scene from another, I think it was another music video or a movie, whatever it was, and implemented it into her song. Single ladies. It was some white women that looked like they was ready to call and talk to the managers. They ended up doing something that was kind of similar to that. So, but she's black, so does she get away with it because she's black? For example, Michael Jackson. When we think of the moonwalk, we think of Michael Jackson. But to be honest, there is a group called Shalimar, right? Old school group. And one of the singers of Shalimar was a dancer before he was a singer. He ended up doing the moonwalk first before Michael Jackson did it. Then Michael Jackson...
The same thing with Janet Jackson's "If," that breakdown dance. Tina London, who is a white choreographer, she got that from some Africans.
Exactly.
He gave that to Janet, so it's
and then on top of that, a lot of us do the same thing as far as black people. For example, I don't know if it's the group Tony or Guy, but it's a song "Whatever You Want." You know I can provide that song, right? So I remember I was driving home from school with my sister, right? And the beat came on, I'm like, oh shit, this is my shit or whatever. And then all I heard was, I ain't had that pussy in a minute, I'm on the way. And I'm like, what the fuck? But they ended up taking samples from things. So we can't sit here and get mad and talk about other people taking samples when we do the exact same thing. I don't know how many songs I done heard black people make where they had these Indian type vibes, all that type of stuff.
And who did I bring up earlier?
Timberland.
Timberland, you know, he uses all type of fucking sounds from all type of goddamn coaches. I mean, he uses crying babies to goddamn wind chimes to
exactly
the voices of angel wings and shit.
We can't sit here and say that, oh, everybody's being originators, being innovators, because at the end of the day, we have all been inspired by something or someone in the past. Every time we do something, it's always coming around full circle. For example, back in the 60s and 70s, what was everybody rocking? They was rocking their natural crowns, afros. I'm talking about big blowout kid afros, afro sheen and shit like that was going on. And look, now, around 2018, we're now still embracing the natural hair. These things, they come around full circle.
But guess what, though? Speaking of that, and we're going to read some comments, too, because people coming in to
right.
Out like a damn waterfall. The 70s, white people were wearing their fucking afros and bell bottoms as well, and we were not having, for whatever reason, conversations around cultural appropriation.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of black people just want something to be a part of, and so they're being radical about. They're using like equality and the movement behind social equality as a way to just be in a club. So they're not really in it for the upliftment. They're not in it for the context. They're not in it for the intellectualism. They're not really in it for the empowerment. They just want to join a bandwagon and get in the crowd so they can make fucking noise. And so they say a lot of acidine shit, and they don't consider a lot of historical contexts pertaining to these type of conversations, like talking about the 60s and the 70s, where white people and black people were blending culture and were in and out of each other's culture, and that was not offensive to either fucking culture.
And that's why I always say it's important for us to do something, because all we're doing right now is complaining, and we're not putting forth any effort. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the conversation that GrapeVine had. I love the fact that you have all these melanated people coming together and having conversations, but not yet did one person come up with a remedy to try to fix the situation. It was just the fact of, this is how I feel. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. Even got to the point to where people were about to become physical in the video. It was like, we can have these conversations, but at the same time, it's not really doing anything unless we're coming up with a plan to change things in order to make a difference in that. That's why I have brought up the whole ideology of our ancestors. Our ancestors had no rights during slavery. All that stuff had a whole bunch of shit happening to them. They had to make the decision and say, you know what? This is not a way of life. We have to do better. We have to do something to change this. And they did that. Going to the civil rights movement, like I said, with the whole bus boycott, they said, oh, y'all hoes don't want us to, you want us to sit in the back of the bus, or if we're sitting at the front of the bus, a white person come up to us and get our seat, we're supposed to be okay with that. Okay, well, fuck y'all hoes. We ain't riding the bus. And we had that much power to where they changed laws. So it's like now, because even though, yeah, we have injustices and inequalities going on, compared to how it was before, this is easier. Our ancestors made it easier for us to be able to do things. But instead of us picking up and tightening our bootstraps and actually putting our foot to the pavement and doing things about it, we are now people who just complain. That's why certain situations and instances continue to happen. You talking about it is not enough. What are you going to do to change the dynamic of how things are going? Because if you don't do nothing, at the end of the day, these people who are doing cultural appropriation are going to continue to do just that, continue to get the accolades, continue to get the praise, continue to get the millions of dollars, and y'all going to be mad. What are you going to do?
So let's read some of these comments. Cosmic had a few things to say. He said, effort is not progress, sir. What would you say to that?
To me?
Yeah. He said, effort is not progress.
Effort is not progress.
Okay, so explain what you mean.
Yeah, explain to me just a little bit more, Cosmic, please. Thank you.
Monte says, let me be the Filipino representative for Bruno Mars.
Come on in.
Because Monte is Filipino, bitch.
Come on, yes, please.
Cosmic also asks, do all cultures appropriate?
I feel like we do. We've all appropriate for something. Malcolm X appropriated some things and his stuff from Islam. Martin Luther King appropriated some of his stuff from other, I don't know if I want to say religions, but other practices as well, to be able to apply it to what was going on. We all do something. We're all inspired by something. We're all inspired by something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I honestly feel. We're all inspired by something. So I feel like, yes, we all do appropriate something. You have black people that like being gothic. You have black people who love country music. You have white people who love rap. You have Mexican people who love rap. You have a lot of people that like different things. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like we all do appropriate in some way, shape, or form.
Even though a lot of the things that you just said are black created, like black people created rock, black people created...
Yeah, we created rock and roll. You're right.
Okay,
you're right. But when you think of white people, when you think of rock and roll, what do you think of, though?
I mean, I think of white people, but yeah. I know it comes from black.
Yeah, it comes... I feel like the majority of things come from black people. That's what I feel. That's how I honestly feel. But at the same time, I feel like we do appropriate certain things, though. Yeah. To a certain degree, all of us do. So I don't know if you can see the comments more than I can, but go ahead.
So that's what I found to be interesting, though. It's like, we don't harp on Beyonce. We don't harp on a Kanye West for stealing and being inspired and just taking people shit. And I think the reason why we don't is because, like, there's a pretty people privilege. I think there is a talent privilege. I think when you think about Beyonce, the bitch is so good at what the fuck she does. It's almost like even if she's guilty as a thief, we're not going to prosecute her as one, because you can't prosecute that type of greatness. So I feel like, because like Bruno, well, I don't know if people consider Bruno Mars to be super talented, but obviously enough motherfuckers to do for him to be where he is. And therefore, I think that why we don't hold some of these people to the cross is because they're so great at what they do that it almost puts them on a pedestal and a godlikeness. And we don't nail our gods. We just don't. We, especially black folk, and we even see this within the Christian church. Like, black people will hold on to their leaders for better, for worse, or for whatever. We just do not persecute greatness or what we think of as greatness. So we ain't gonna see some of these motherfuckers held to the cross. Let me read this other comment.
Yeah.
Maddie said, I think inspiration is different from appropriation. Appropriation has an element of exploitation and a history of one group conquering another. Cosmic said, liking something is not appropriating it. Some people say only the conquistadors can appropriate. Yes, many Filipinos are talented but don't have the same opportunity. Right. So liking something is not appropriating. Liking something isn't appropriating. Like, as I was listening to the Grapevine, and I was thinking about the way that they was going in on Bruno Mars, saying that, well, because he isn't black, he should not be able to excel at black shit. Right. I was thinking to myself, like, says the fuck who, bitch? Like, take me for instance. I love hair. I love long hair. Somebody can say I'm appropriating a woman's aesthetic anytime that I put on makeup. And what I would tell to any motherfucker is that I don't owe a motherfucker shit for liking what the fuck I like. So if I just want to wear hair or take certain things from women and integrate those things into my own aesthetic and make them mine, I also don't have to. I also don't have to care about the nuances of what it means to be a woman and what's significant to a woman. I can just fucking I can do that. Now I don't do that. I'm an equal opportunist empowerment individual, so I support every fucking one, from the gays to my blacks to my women's to every goddamn underdog and marginalized group in this fucking world. But I'm also thinking, who is creating these fucking standards? Like, says who that I owe you anything because I'm inspired by what you do. And so maybe we can talk about the difference between inspiration and appropriation, because when I hear appropriation, I just think of straight plagiarism. When I think of inspiration, it means that you can look at me and see something familiar, but you don't see the exact thing similar to it. Then I think I've done where the fuck this big hold on went at? Now, Bub's Love done went and disappeared into the goddamn vortex. Let me see if I can get this fool back here. I can't bring him on. Why can't I bring him on? Bub's Love, I don't know where the hell you went. Cosmic Noir, oh, that's a line in Vikings. Say that we don't crucify our gods. Bubs Love, I don't know where you at, homie. Just let me know when you are you back in the stream?
I'm sorry, y'all. My friend called me and I had to block his ass.
I was about to get somebody else in your damn place. Just that quick, my nigga.
I'm sorry. No, I take that back. No. But I just want to say this though. Once again, in reference to Bruno Mars, I feel like he hasn't done anything to show cultural appropriation. To me, he hasn't. He hasn't done anything. And even in the Grapevine conversation, I don't think nobody could really bring up something that he did to show that he was a culture vulture. To me, he didn't. Because this is how I look at it. If you're a person of color, I still consider you under the umbrella of being like related or in linked with black people. Whether your ass is Mexican, whether you Filipino, whether your ass is Arab, whatever the case is, I feel like if you're part of a minority,
Latino community are very close in terms of culture. Like, they also say the word nigga. They live also in the same urban neighborhoods that we occupy, so we kind of consider them to be black. And so we, like, there's a mutual sharing of culture between us and Latinos. Jennifer Lopez, all them individuals, like, so it is interesting when we get into culture and how layered culture is and where the lines are and what the fuck is appropriation and who's getting it wrong and who task is it to do this or not fucking do this. I think we'll just cancel all this out. I think all this would just be canceled out and evened out if black people would just stop begging the massa for the scraps. And
because he's not going to give it to you. That's the thing. That's the thing I kept trying to say. You're trying to sit here and wait for the people that, quote unquote, have the power to give it to you. It's been centuries that have passed and they have not. When are you going to realize that you have to get it for yourself? At the end of the day, and that's why I said we as black people have the power to change things. We've done it before. If we can learn to collectively come together, or at least for the most part, come together and start using the one thing that white people care about in reference to black people, which is money, because he who holds the money holds the power. If we can end up using that, we could make changes. We could be, and then on top of that, if we was to even make it a broader thing and say, you know what, not even just black people, but Mexican people, Arabic people, Middle East, the same thing, Middle East people, Oriental people, if we all come together as far as the people who have been deemed as a minority come together with their money, do you know how much power we would have? We would have so much power. But it goes back to, once again, yes, we can hold these people who are non-black. We can continue to roast them and put pressure on them. But like you said, they're not obligated to do that if they don't want to. It's something about us. It's time out for blaming everybody else. What the hell are we going to do? Yes, we are still feeling the effects of slavery and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, our ancestors fought. They did stuff to change it. So now it's our turn to stop being babies, to stop complaining, to stop begging for people to give us shit, and actually get the fuck up and do something about it. That's how I feel about it. And if you're not going to do that, then just shut the hell up. Point blank and period.
Okay, wait a minute now, because you sound reminiscent of me when we were talking about the Monique situation like last week, and I was
and you, but see, but it's the thing though. But here's the thing, though, and you're right. I can admit that. But once again, like I said, when me and you have conversations, yes, of course, I like to play the devil's advocate. I like to challenge you. But of course, when you sit back and look back on things, you realize, okay, yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. That is the case. But once again, you made the comment that I just said in reference to it's about black people as far as us collectively coming together to do that. Because my thing is, in reference to Monique, she put out movies. She put out Blackbird. She put out a few other films, I believe, and they didn't really get the notoriety that I felt like they should have gotten because of her being blackballed in Hollywood. Once again, Hollywood being the racist construct or whatever. Cosby said, so what are you going to do? What am I going to do in reference to that? Well,
hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. And Cosmic also said, where does one culture end and another begins?
You want to answer that question, Davion?
Well, he asking you this shit, but I can. But you can answer. You can answer this last question of what.
Well, for me, to be honest, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's like I was responding to what they said in reference to the GrapeVine. This is my comment and my opinion as far as that. What am I going to do? I know for a fact, for example, me, I'm an actor. I love acting. That's my passion. I know for a fact that going to Hollywood, I'm not going to be able to get certain roles because of, one, my stature. I'm 5'2", I'm short. And two, because I'm black. Now, I'm thankful for the fact that Black Panther has happened to be able to open up doors for more black people to create representations of black people besides us being drug dealers and crackheads and all this stuff. But at the same time, what am I going to do? I'm going to use the power of the internet in reference to creating my own content, creating my own stuff. And Davion has seen some of the things that I've created. And I mean, I've gotten the green light from Davion. So obviously it's something that's pretty good. But I'm going to use what I can.
My stamp of approval is the stamp of approval.
Thank you. So I'm going to do something that what I can do in reference to, and also with social media, you can change the world with certain things. Social media is the eyes to the world. There are people right now that are doing things that are getting over 1 million views plus. So I'm going to do my part. So then I pose the question to you, Cosmic, my brother. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to tell the both of y'all what the fuck I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to talk hella shit because because honestly...
I'm listening.
Because there's honestly this is not a job for one person. So
exactly.
It's never about what are you going to do. The
conversation what we going to do.
About what the fuck are we going to do.
And that's what I was saying.
Just like one motherfucker couldn't do the civil rights movement alone, one motherfucker couldn't do anything. Like, this has to be a joint fucking venture. And like I was telling you about the Monique situation, like, black people got to become back reinvested in black media and black fucking art. Like,
right.
Me and you spoke about the fucking 90s when it seemed like black films were at their height. Black actors and actresses were at their height. We had Family Matters, The Cosby Show, In Living Single, In Living Color. We had Boys in the Hood. Like, we just, like, Waiting to Exhale, Soul Food. Like, it was nothing to get a black film done. It was nothing to showcase black love, black pain, black hurt, black humor, black everything. And I don't know where the shift happened and how the fuck the shift happened, but we need to analyze that, reevaluate that, and get back into that place there where black people had it going the fuck
exactly
on.
And that
there was a real black Hollywood.
Exactly. And I think once again it goes back to bringing awareness to the situation. Now, yes, the people on the Grapevine, even though there were some opinions that I didn't agree with, I could understand where they're coming from. Once again, it's bringing forth awareness. That's great to always bring forth awareness. Like with the whole Monique situation, she was just shedding light on things that happen in Hollywood in reference to black actors and actresses who unfortunately. Go ahead.
Do you want to talk about the Monique situation while we're here?
Yeah, we can.
Talk about Monique's situation.
Okay. So a lot of people kind of was getting on Monique as far as like, I'm not finna boycott Netflix and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop and other type of stuff. And it was like, oh, you're just trying to get more money and stuff like that. And some people saying, oh, you was cooning when you was doing, Precious, and how dare you play such a degrading role like that. This is how I look at it. At first, and I've been watching a lot of videos about Monique and what she was saying and why a lot of people were saying in reference to her husband, like, your husband is destroying your career, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And in reference to that, she said she had the big white attorneys, the big white lawyers, that whenever she went in and renegotiated a deal because she knew she deserved more because she was putting in fucking work, they kept saying to her, we'll get them next time, Monique, next time. And it was like, why does this sound familiar all the time to do something next time? So her husband said no. At first, he didn't even want to be her manager or be a representation of her. He didn't want to. But he saw how these white men who had the power were treating her and was saying, Monique, it's nothing personal. We have to keep these relationships with these studios. We can't have your best interest in heart. We have to have the best interest of the studio at heart. So you have somebody who, first of all, is a fucking husband, which a lot of these hoes don't have husbands. They got baby daddies and shit that don't want to do with them. So the fact they have husbands that stand with their wives, stand with them and know and see their value. Now, a lot of people were saying, oh, with Monique, you're not relevant. You're not you're not hot right now. But at the same time, every time somebody come for y'all fave, y'all stay talking about, oh, she had the number one this. She had all this stuff going on, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. For example, Mariah Carey. Every time Mariah Carey gets up and she sings, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But every time they come to her defense, oh, well, she had this going on. And every time the Christmas come, her album is number one. It's like, but at the same time, Monique said, I'm the most decorated comedian alive. I have Oscars.
Which actually isn't true. It's actually Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg. Okay. Okay, well, I stand corrected in that. Okay, well, the bitch is somewhat decorated. Let's just say that. She's somewhat decorated than a lot.
She's one of the most decorated black comedians.
Right. So when you're right. Okay, I stand corrected in that. But even Whoopi Goldberg is an icon. I'm pretty sure I don't even know if she's making the amount of money or whatever. Because what happened is that they had an interview when they went to.
But do you know what's interesting though about Whoopi Goldberg?
Goldberg.
She might as well Whoopi Goldberg. The bitch is good with her mouth.
Right.
She's still relevant.
Because
because my whole stance with Monique is the industry is a what have you done for me lately industry. It doesn't matter that you was popping 7 years ago. Are you popping now? Because the amount of money that we're going to give you to fund a project is going to be based upon whether you can carry a particular demographic or a particular audience base that will make our money back times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So if people are forgetting about you and you're wanting a financial sponsorship from us that exceeds what your audience can carry, then how does that make sense in business? How does that math reconcile itself?
And I agree with you on that as far as the whole relevancy thing. But let's take, for example, Viola Davis. She's relevant. She's very relevant. She's doing How to Get Away with Murder, and they're about to have a cross thing with Scandal and all that stuff. When you think of black actresses, Viola comes up in it. And she even had an interview where she said they called her the Black Meryl Streep. But she said, well, if I'm the Black Meryl Streep, why am I not getting paid the money Meryl Streep does? Because she's speaking on something that has been happening a long time. And even Monique said, she's had conversations with black actors and actresses who came to her in private and said, thank you. I'm too scared to say something because, of course, this is affecting my livelihood. But thank you for stepping out and saying something about it and trying to challenge these people. Because it's like, if we're going to say, like going back to the GrapeVine and when they were saying, okay, well, we have to hold these people who are non-black accountable. Like, for example, when Adele said, this Grammy belongs to Beyonce, or when Macklemore said this Grammy belongs to Kendrick Lamar, they're acknowledging that. But then it's like when you think of the big three, you think of Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels. These are the individuals who are black who have the power to change things. And I understand, this is how Hollywood is, but it's like, so why is it that as a black person, I have to work twice, 3 times as hard to try to make a living off out of here? And I know I'm damn good. Y'all have me in all these movies. Y'all know I'm damn good. But my white counterparts don't have to work as hard, and they're getting paid more than me. So it's like, do we just sit here and play the game? And I can understand what Monique is saying. She said, if I sit here and just accept this and I speak out about it, what does it say about the next person coming up? Oh, well, Monique did it, so let me just go ahead and just settle. No, somebody has to be a martyr. And yes, did it damage her career? Of course. You would think, and we had this conversation too, you would think that an individual who won an Oscar, that is the highest level of accolades and reference in the acting world as far as film is concerned. When you win an Oscar, and I know you said some people have won Oscars and their career they couldn't get another movie, but usually when you win Oscars, it's like, damn, she hot. She know what she doing. We need to get her in these projects.
So can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
So based upon what I've heard from actors and actresses who've won Oscars, and based upon the way that it appears that Hollywood works, and even with my own participation in Hollywood, modeling and doing the things that I've done in the fucking industry, like, I can tell you right now, awards are grades. They're not, they don't give you privilege. They're just a test score. So it's equivalent to getting like an A or a B on a test exam.
Right.
When you go to the 5th grade, you're going to be retested all the fuck over again. And you're either going to make an F, a D, a C, a B, or a motherfucking A. Right. So when these people are winning VMAs and Grammys and they're winning Oscars and everything, and Golden Globe Awards and Soul Train Awards and Billboard Awards, these are just things we can say about those people. Oh, Grammy Award winning. Oh, Oscar nominated. Oh, Golden Globe winner.
Right.
Still gotta show up to work tomorrow, even if you are employee of the month, bitch. You still get the same salary as even if you're employee of the month, bitch. You still gotta push these dishes, push this cart, clean these tables, even as employee of the month, bitch.
Right. But then I feel like
Monique has started to relax into the fact that she's decorated and she's thinking that's supposed to mean something to white people who only want to see you hold a consistent audience so that they can feel good and confident about making the necessary investment. If you don't want to show them that, then baby, you got to spend your own $500,000, your own $300,000 on whatever project that you want to. Now, considering the fact that Monique is a paid, and I would assume a rich bitch, I don't know her net worth, but I brought up to you in that conversation as well that the movie Get Out was made on a pretty low budget. The movie Moonlight was nominated. It was great. It was cinematic, and it was done on a cheap-ass budget. Even Precious was done on a cheap-ass, so cheap that Monique didn't even want to go promote the motherfucking movie overseas because they couldn't even pay for certain luxuries she wanted to have as somebody who was going to give up family time with her children and her husband to go and do this movie. Like, they were that broke for Precious, and look at what Precious did for Lee Daniels. Look at what it did for Monique. Look at what it did for the big girl who was co-starring in Precious. And so I'm thinking to Monique, and I'm now saying this to all people. Think about how you sound when you walk around claiming you're the best, you are the baddest, you are the greatest, and yet you're trying to convince somebody else of that. If you have the means and the resources and the money your fucking self to invest in your own greatness, why be cheap and try to keep your money to yourself and go rather beg a bunch of people who you got to do a bunch of different goddamn cartwheels back and forth with to possibly get an investment versus trusting in your own talent and your own ability, since you have a history of being successful, and taking that chance on your fucking self, because Lee Daniels has become a major player as a result of doing a dope film on a raggedy, low income ass budget. Right. Like, I think sometimes we sleep on our own potential, and we sleep on our own motherfucking efforts and our own talent and our own gift, and we would rather, spend time trying to convince motherfuckers of a reality that already is. All we got to do is just go sow our own seeds. Go sow your own seed, bitch. Right.
But like I said, what Monique, in a sense, did when she did her own film her and her husband created, which was Blackbird. They did that, but it didn't receive that because, once again, it goes back to what we were saying as far as, okay, black people got to support black people's stuff as well, too. You get what I'm saying? Because she created that content, and a lot of people don't even know or have even heard of Blackbird, to be honest with you. Like, and when I saw that,
but she played the mother of a
gay. She played the mother of a guy who was struggling with his sexuality. So she did that. But once again, I think what she was doing is that she was bringing awareness to what was going on in Hollywood as far as the system that everybody's told to. You need to be glad that your black ass got a job. You need to be glad that your black ass even got a fucking role. So keep your mouth shut. Whatever we want to do. Like, I think I was watching one of her videos with her husband when they do their weekly radio show, and they said something along the lines of, I guess Halle Berry, when she did a movie with one of them, I don't know if it was Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, or Oprah, whoever, she ended up cooking them breakfast like they was just fucking gods or something. And Monique said, "Bitch, I'm not finna pour a bowl of cereal. I ain't finna fry a damn egg." You get what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it in a different type of way. And going back to the ideology or the what you said in reference to getting good grades and Oscar and all stuff is an A. Let's look at the school system. Yes, you go up in grade, 5th, 6th grade, but at the same time, once you continue to do good, you realize, okay, you know what? Because you're so smart, we're not going to put you in regular classes. We're going to put you in more scholastically challenging classes. And then if you excel in that, then guess what? We're going to go ahead and put you in more advanced courses in high school. And then if you do good in high school and get a 4.0 GPA the entire time you're in high school, guess what? You have a free ride to college where you ain't got to pay for shit. So what I'm saying is that a lot of these black actors and actresses are working twice as hard. And it's like, why do we have to work twice as hard and other people don't? Or white people or people who are not black don't have to work twice as hard. And they're making millions of dollars, and a lot of them are trash. Trash.
You know what? just like black people created the BET Awards and the Soul Train Awards, black actresses can create the black version of the fucking of the Oscars. They can create the black version of the Golden fucking Globes. Like, stop begging colonizers to crown your black ass and let's go create our own shit.
Right.
Because I don't give a fuck about living in a society where I have to give a fuck about what European motherfuckers think about me every goddamn. I don't care that you don't think I'm talented. I don't give a fuck that you have something to say about my baggy clothes or that or my lingo. I don't give a fuck.
But let me ask you this. Do you think that if black people were able to, black actors and actresses were able to come together and to create their own award show or their own award ceremony for that, do you think that a lot of the white people that have power, would try to do things to destroy it? And the reason why I said it is because there was a point in time where black people had a Black Wall Street. They put their shit together. They had their own stores. They had their own banks. They had their own stuff. And the white people came in and completely destroyed it. So it's like, do you think that might happen too in reference to that?
And when it comes to certain things, white nationalists and white supremacists are going to make sure that they give black people a hard time every step of the way. As it comes to entertainment, no, I don't think that white people are going to fight that fucking hard because they haven't interfered with the BET Awards. And what's interestingly enough is we don't appreciate the Soul Train Awards and the BET Awards.
Exactly.
Not because of anything that white people have done. We as black people are so invested in being overcritical of our own shit.
Exactly.
To the point where we don't realize we have a prejudice against each other. We sometimes make certain things more about white supremacy and racism instead of black on black, like this anti-black attitude that black people have toward other fucking black people. So no, I don't think that black people, I don't think that white people would necessarily fight black people on establishing their own shit because we already have our own shit. We just don't care about
and kind of going like, for example, let's take the whole situation with the H&M ad when they put the black boy as saying the coolest monkey in the jungle, right? And everybody was putting out these different versions of like, Black King, and they were putting their own customizable content in reference to the black boy, the same black boy in that ad, but have like a crown on top of his head, or says the coolest king in the palace or whatever. And someone made a point. They said, you know what? But there are black artists. I mean, black artists and creators out there that create stuff like that already, that create clothing apparel that uplift, encourage, and inspire black people. But it's like, if you wear that, they're going to be like, what are those? What do you have on? Oh, you're lame or whatever. But it's like, but it's uplifting us. But if I'm not wearing a brand name clothing, if I don't have the latest fucking J's that's out or whatever, then all of a sudden you're downing me. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, we don't even really, and like you said, invest in a lot of black stuff. For example, if we go to a black restaurant, you're going to be complaining like, oh my God, well, why is the service is so terrible? Or if you go to a black establishment or a black clothing store, what's the one thing you're going to ask people? Come on, man, we brother, you can't give me a hookup, but you won't carry your ass to fucking Neiman Marcus and all them and tell them to give you a damn hookup or give you a discount. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, we have to take responsibility. At the end of the day, this whole conversation in reference to the GrapeVine, in reference to Monique and all this type of stuff, we as black people, as a collective, have to really sit down and do some soul searching right here and right now in order to make change. Because like I said, our ancestors did it. They got up and did something about it collectively. It wasn't just one person. It was the majority coming together and realizing that we need to do something in order to change that. And until us as black people come together and do that, things are going to remain the way they are. We're going to sit here and talk about it. We're going to sit here and complain about it. We're going to sit here and give our opinions and views about it, but nothing's going to change until we do something.
So my question to black people, to my black community is, what are you guys willing to give up? Because just like our forefathers and our great-grandparents and our grandparents had to make sacrifices for shit to improve for the people, our generation of people and the ones coming up before us, we're going to have to ask ourselves, how much fight are we willing to give to this fight? Like, what are you willing to let this cost you? What are you willing to go without in order to help people?
But that's why. Go ahead. But that's why I was saying, like, for us as Black people now, I feel like this is our struggle that we have to fight. And like I said, compared to what our ancestors been through, this shouldn't be this hard to fight about it, because now they have fought to make it easier for us. Even though it's not completely gone, even though there are still situations that are hurdles we have to jump over and bridges we have to cross, at the end of the day, it's not as bad as it was. So that's why I said we have to stop complaining and actually do something about it. So I think it ends up killing the ego, killing the pride, and realizing, okay, I'm not going to go out and buy these new J's that come out next Friday. I'm not going to spend money on these clothing that the rappers talk about. I'm actually going to invest my money into Black businesses. I'm going to buy Black things. I'm going to show support to my people. We have to start doing that. But the way I look at it now, I feel like collectively, it's going to have to take, unfortunately, it's going to take something very extreme for us to do that. Like, extreme for us to do that. And you would have thought some of these situations and instances that happened to Black people as of today would have united us, but we always get to a point to where we end up becoming outraged, we talk about it, we get mad about it, and then it's quiet until something, the same cycle happens again. When are we going to break the cycle?
Yeah. When? How? And on that note, my motherfucking phone is dying.
Your phone stay dying.
Well, bitch, we've been on here for like probably almost an hour, if not
probably a little bit over an hour. So, yeah.
Hold on, let me read this comment from Cosmic. Cosmic said, in response to the brother asking me what am I doing, I have the initiative called Colored Critical Mass. Thank you, gentlemen, for having this talk. Got to go.
Okay.
So,
and hold on, let me say this. And Cosmic, I have love for you, man. I have love for you because that's your spiritual teacher, isn't it? Davion?
No, he's spiritual brother.
Oh, spiritual brother. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
And
I have love for him.
He's an awesome spiritual brother.
He is. I've seen a lot of his lives and everything, and it's nothing. It's no ill will. It's nothing like that. It's no malice or whatever and stuff. I actually appreciate him asking these questions because, like, I like having conversations where we have stuff like this. So if you think it's ill will or malice, trust me, it's not. I have love for you as my Black brother. Anybody connected to Davion, I have love for. So I just want to say that.
He knows that you're one of the fucking disciples.
I just want to say that. So, I got much love for you, Kyle.
Well, tell the people where they can find you and get connected to you, where they can get connected to you.
Well, of course, Davion tagged me in this post, so you can click on my Facebook channel, which is Bubs Love, BUBZLOVE. You can check me out on Instagram, which is Bubs Love, BUBZZZ. That's 3 Z's, LOVE. On Snapchat, which is Bubs Love. And, of course, on my YouTube channel, which is On the Ocean 007, ONTHEOCEAN 007, all one word. And that's where you'll find me. So.
And you guys can find me nowhere because I'm intangible. But hope you guys enjoyed this talk tonight. Loves love. And God bless you guys. And we will talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye.